Hey Sun Devil fans, Sandy Charles here with DevilsDigest.com, and I'm joined by our publisher, Hoder Bino, as we break down Saturday's game. ASU travels to LA to take on UCLA at the Rose Bowl. So Hode, another week, another game where ASU faces a Pac-12 opponent that, in comparison, has struggled more than the Sun Devils this year. What similarities are surrounding this UCLA team as compared to Colorado, which they already faced last week?
Yeah, I mean, I think there definitely are similarities just because both Colorado and UCLA were predicted to finish higher than they currently right now. UCLA being fifth in the Pac-12 South, Colorado being very last at number 6. And I think those are teams that really lost, I think, quite a bit from last year, especially Colorado. So I think in some sense you would expect them to take a step back, but obviously UCLA and Colorado did not come into the season with that mindset. But I also feel that just both teams have been kind of beaten down somewhat, and when you reach this point in November, I think the mental and the physical wear and tear really takes a toll on everybody, but especially when things aren't going your way, like for UCLA and Colorado. I think that does make a difference. I think with UCLA, what might be a little different with Colorado is that they're undefeated at home. They're actually 4-0 at the Rose Bowl, and that's something Colorado can claim. So it's not like UCLA hasn't found some success. On the other hand, if we're being honest about it, most of UCLA's harder games or more challenging contests were actually played away from the Rose Bowl. So I think there's something skewed with that record. And we'll remember that miracle win against Texas A&M that did take place in the Rose Bowl. Again, a lot of people maybe thought UCLA didn't have any business winning. So I think much like Colorado, UCLA is a team that feels like things have not gone their way at all, and they definitely have fallen below expectations. But every week is a new game, and I don't think Colorado came in last week against ASU feeling sorry for themselves, and really showed, especially in the first half. And I don't think UCLA, with all the issues they're having, big rash of injuries, I don't think they're coming into this game with ASU feeling that it's a lost battle to begin with.
Now the UCLA offense poised for a boost with starting quarterback Josh Rosen back in the lineup. What challenges await ASU's defense?
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing to see that with all the great quarterbacks in this league, Josh Rosen, even though not playing on a great UCLA team, is still the top passer in the Pac-12. And when you look at the most offensive categories, UCLA is definitely in the top 5, even top 3 in some of them. So really, when you talk about the impact that Josh Rosen brings to the table, I mean, it's something it's impossible to overstate. Now, he did have a concussion last week, but as we're speaking right now on a Wednesday, he has been practicing all week, so I fully expect him to play. And it's definitely going to be challenging, I think, for the ASU secondary to face another quality quarterback. But the difference is that I don't think that Josh Rosen has the complement of skilled players, maybe compared to a team like UC, for example. Their best wide receiver, Darren Andrews, was lost for the season last week. So I just feel that Josh Rosen has less and less targets to distribute the ball. But at the same time, I don't think you should really discount him and discount the UCLA offense for that. I mean, they're really going to play with a lot of pride. And again, they're playing in a venue that they have not lost this year. That does count for something. And you really just want to make sure that as much as the UCLA running game has struggled, you make sure this is the game that's not going to wake them up, so to speak. I think ASU defense has to be very, very cognizant that UCLA's running backs are very talented. Some of them were 5-star recruits, and they can have a breakout game really at any given week, and just make sure it doesn't happen against them. But it goes without saying that if ASU is going to win this game, some way, somehow, they have to neutralize Josh Rosen, and that might be a task that really is going to be much easier said than done.
Now, UCLA defense, polarizing numbers. On one hand, 3rd in the Pac-12 in pass defense, but last in run defense. It's clear what ASU's offense needs to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, with all the suitcases and baggage that ASU is going to have on that charter flight to Burbank, they better make sure that the running game is going to travel, and especially the running game that we saw last week, 381 yards, the highest total rushing yards for Arizona State in a Pac-12 contest since 1997. There's no doubt in my mind that Arizona State is going to win this game. The running game is going to have to show up and show up big. It's not only UCLA being last in the Pac-12, but they are averaging 300 yards on the ground yielded per game. number 11, I'm sorry, in the Pac-12 is yielding just under 200. So the gap is just absolutely huge. So it's pretty clear where the deficiency is for UCLA. I think their pass defense numbers may be a little misleading because, after all, if teams are running at will against UCLA, why bother passing the ball? And I think that's something that can help Arizona State to some extent, because we talked again and again about the issues with Arizona State's passing game, and even a win against Colorado last week. I mean, things were not really as smooth as you wanted to be in that department, and really the 191 rushing yards in the fourth quarter is what really fueled Arizona State's 24-3 fourth quarter performance against Colorado. So I think the formula is pretty simple for Arizona State's running backs to show up. Damar Richard with a career game, definitely shows what a healthy Damar Richard can do for this offense. Manny Wilkins obviously always runs the ball well. Kalen Ballage maybe didn't get that many touches. We'll see what happens this week, but he obviously is a very, very capable running back. And Benjamin, the true freshman, what he showed last week, five carries, 52 yards, an unbelievable touchdown, something you're more apt to see on a Sunday than a Saturday. It really was that impressive. I mean, just having that compliments of ball carriers for Arizona State really should be working to their full advantage against a UCLA run defense that has been close to non-existent all year long.
Now, ASU, again, this is on the road, and they've struggled with road games. But with that being said, they've won 3 of the last 4 games. Can they pull out a win at the Rose Bowl, and what's your final prediction?
Yeah, I definitely think that Arizona State is definitely coming into this game with some momentum. They run the Rose Bowl in 2015 and 2013, and they're definitely catching, I think, UCLA in a good spot, for lack of a better term, just because of the rash of injuries that they're having, and even the Josh Rosen coming back. Like I said, they're missing a lot of pieces on offense and really a lot of pieces on defense too. And obviously, this UCLA defense cannot be looking forward to facing this ASU running game, especially after they did last week. And I think if UCLA concentrates too much on the running game, that can open things up for the ASU passing game. And maybe this passing game really puts up numbers and puts up points that can really give this component of the ASU offense some confidence. Because, like I said, it's definitely an aspect that even throughout winning 3 of the last 4 Pac-12 games, I felt that did struggle to some extent. I just feel that even though a lot is working in Arizona State's favor, I think Josh Rosen is somewhat the equalizer in that. And I think that even though he's missing so many of his skilled players for this game, he is still a very, very dangerous quarterback, and you really can't discount UCLA in that vein. So it's going to be a close one, but I feel Arizona State can win this game. I'm predicting the Sun Devils to win 34-31.
Awesome. Thank you so much. For Hoder Bino, I'm Sandy Charles. Keep it locked in at DevilsDigest.com for all your pregame and postgame coverage.